Hello everyone. This video is a second part of how to do subsetting in our video series. So in the first part we covered the basics of our subsetting. We saw the various types of subsetting one can perform on vectors and data frame. Okay. So in this video, we will extend our discussion to subsetting a list. We will also cover another convenient option of subsetting, use of dollar operator. So we will see how we can use the dollar operator for the subsetting of list and data frame. So if you have not seen my earlier video, I highly recommend you to watch it, so that it will help you to keep everything that we have covered so far in a proper context. You will find the link of the first part of the video in the description below. So without further ado, let's start with the agenda. So in this video, we will see how we can able to subset the list. If you use a normal way of subsetting, you will encounter the issue. We'll discuss what that issue is, then we will try to resolve that issue by checking how we can use a double bracket notation for the subsetting. Then we will use a dollar operator, and finally we will run the R code. So let's start with the first point of the agenda, how we can able to subset the list. So this is a simple list that I've created. So it has a matrix, it has a logical vector, it has a string, and it has a number vector. Okay. And now let me use our normal standard notation of subsetting. Okay. So if I use a bracket notation with the index position, then, and if I run this, then the output will be my matrix and it will show the content of my matrix. But one important thing to note here is that if you use a normal subsetting type to subset the list, then R will return a new list. So this is a list. R will return a new list that has the elements you requested. Okay, so in this case, if I run a function called typeOf and I put my list indexing inside it, then I will get list as output. So the object type of this output will be the list. Okay. Now this will create the issue. Let's see what is the issue that we are facing now. So as we saw that if I subset a list in a usual way, then the output object that I will be getting is a list. Okay. Now the issue here is that if I want to use many of the built-in functions in R, for example, if I want to use a sum function, and if I run the sum function on first element of the list, then I will get an error, because this sum function, to that matter any built-in function in R, doesn't work on the list. Okay, and because this type of subsetting gives me list as an object type, sum will not able to recognize this object type and it will throw me the error. That is the issue that we are facing. Okay, now let us see how we can able to resolve this issue. We can able to resolve the issue with the help of another type of subsetting that is called as double bracket subsetting. Okay, so if I use the same notation, but in this case a double bracket, I put the index in a double bracket, and if I run this, then I will get only the contents of the new list. So here I am getting the content of my matrix list. Okay, and if I run the type of function on this new way of subsetting a list, then I will get integer as a R object. And because the R object in this case is integer, I can now able to run my all predefined functions in R. So if I run my sum function on double bracketed indexing of the list, then I should get the output as 10, because here my list subsetting is going to give me the vector of integers and not the list vector of integers, and sum function runs on the vector of integers and will give me the sum of those integers, which is 10. So remember, if you subset the list in the usual way, R will return a new list, and if you subset a list with the double bracket notation, then R will return the vector of integers. So this may find confusing to you. That's why I would like to take an example of train. So let us use the train analogy, and let me help you out in explaining this double bracket and single bracket concept in a more simpler way. So imagine that each list is a train. So this is a train, and each element is a train car. So we have 3 elements in the list, and that's why we have 3 train cars. Okay, now when you use a single bracket, then R will select individual train car. In this case, R will select this train car and return it as a new train. So this is my new train. Okay, but in this case, each car keeps its content. So this train car is keeping its content. Now if I want to check the content inside the train car, I will have to use this double bracket notation. And if I use the double bracket notation, I am telling R to unload the car and give me the contents that are inside that train car. I hope that this example will help you out in finding out the subtleties between a single bracket notation and two bracket notations. So let's go ahead and let's learn how we can able to use a dollar notation for subsetting. You can use dollar notation on the elements of the list if they have names. In this case, each element of the list has the names. So I will use a dollar notation in this case. So what you will have to do is you will have to write the name of the list followed by a dollar notation sign and the name of sublist. If I run this, then I will get the content of the sublist. And if I now check the type of the output of dollar notation, then I will get integer as a output. So remember, the type of the output of dollar notation subsetting is for the list is integer. That's why this subsetting is equivalent to double bracketed notation subsetting. It will give you the similar result, similar object type. Okay, and it's not only the dollar operator you can use for the list, but also you can use the dollar operator for the data frame. So let's find out how we can use the dollar operator for the data frame. You can also use the dollar notation to fetch out the details of a particular column of the data frame. For example, I will use data frame name followed by dollar operator and the name of the column. Now in this case, I am not putting the quotation marks across the name of the column. So I am simply writing its name. Please note this point. And once I do this, then R will give me the contents of that particular column. So this is again the integer. It's a vector of integer, and because it's a vector of integer, I can use the same built-in functions in R to find out the statistical values of that particular column. In this case, it will print out the sum. If I want to print out the median, it will also print out the median for me. Okay, so remember, dollar operator is used to extract the values of a list as well as the values from the data frame. Now let's run the R code and let's check how we can able to get the results on our console. Let's open the R session. So I've used the same data frame called card deck that I've used in my last video. I will now head down to use of $. So I will use a $sign on a column called value from the card_deck data frame. So if I run this, then it will print out all the observations inside the value column. And because this is the integer vector, I can able to use the predefined R functions such as mean and median. Then I've created a simple list which has number vector, logical vector and strings. So if I run this, then you can get the elements of the list. I use a single bracket subsetting to extract out the first element of the list. This is the first element of the list, but remember the type of object is list, and that's why it is showing me the error when I run the sum function. Remember, many of the R built-in functions don't operate on the list. So now I will use the dollar operator, and because the dollar operator gives me the output as the integer vector object type, I can now able to run the sum function on the content of that particular sublist, and it is giving me the sum as 3. Similarly, I've used the double bracket subsetting, and it is giving me the same result as the dollar operator. So in this video, we discussed how we can use a single bracket subsetting. We discussed the issues that we are facing after using a single bracket subsetting. We can able to resolve that issue with the help of double bracket subsetting. We also saw another convenient way of subsetting, which is dollar operator. Dollar operator subsetting can be used on the list as well as on a data frame. And finally, we run the R code. So that's it. This is the end of the video. If these videos are adding value to your R programming journey, you may want to subscribe to my YouTube channel Infinity, a channel for data science. You can also hit a bell icon to get immediate notifications once I post the videos on YouTube. I also highly recommend you to post your comments or suggestions in the comments box below, so that it will help me out to improve upon my content and delivery of my future upcoming videos. You can also suggest a topic on which you may want me to make the videos. I will try my level best to come up the videos on your suggested topic. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Take care and bye bye.